When Marcus Tate walked into Westfield Community College for the first time, he wasn't looking for trouble. At 27, he just wanted to finish his degree, keep his head down, and get out. A black transfer student from Oakland, he'd enrolled mid-semester, slipping into the bustle of early spring like he'd always been part of it. No one batted an eye. No dramatic music swelled like in the movies. His beat-up backpack hung loose on one shoulder, the straps frayed from years of use, and his faded gray hoodie blended into the crowd. Marcus moved with a quiet that wasn't shy, just deliberate. He'd learned it growing up. Take up less space, not because you're afraid, but because it's smarter. That first morning, a damp March wind pushed litter against the curb outside the lecture hall. The sky was a flat, heavy gray, the kind that made everything feel muted. The bell rang sharp as he lingered by his locker, scanning the hallway, faces, voices, the way people stood. He didn't rush. Marcus never did. He took in the rhythm of this place. Loud laughs echoing off the walls, clusters of students glued to their phones, quick glances slicing through the air like they were sizing him up. Westfield was different from his old community college back home. Shinier, with fancier vending machines and newer paint. But it carried a weight he could feel pressing against his ribs. Not loud hate, but something subtler. A polished vibe that said, "You're not one of us," without ever speaking it. First class was Intro to Literature. The room smelled like old books and cheap coffee. Marcus stepped in and a couple heads turned. A woman in her 30s, Jen, with sleek blonde hair and a designer bag, muttered something to her friend, a guy with a vape tucked in his jacket. They smirked, too quiet for the professor to catch. Dr. Hayes, a lanky dude in his 40s with a scruffy beard and glasses, barely looked up from his laptop. He just pointed to an empty seat in the back. No big intro, no, "Hey class, meet Marcus." Just a flick of the wrist. Marcus liked that. Less noise, less spotlight. He slid into the chair, flipped open his notebook, and listened. He'd figured out years ago that reading the room beat trying to rewrite it. He didn't talk much, didn't raise his hand unless he was dead sure. Where he came from, pausing too long could get you burned, but standing out could sink you deeper. His older cousin Jamal called it ghosting the game. Not hiding, just moving smart. You kept your steps steady, your voice even, your eyes sharp. Westfield, with its gleaming glass doors and security cams blinking in the corners, wasn't built for someone like Marcus. But he knew how to navigate it. He clocked the details others missed. How some students clung to their cliques like lifelines. How Dr. Hayes skimmed right over his name during roll call. How the loudest laughs came from the ones with the most to prove. Then came the day behind the gym. 3 guys, early 20s, cocky, the type who thought they owned the place, cornered him after class. Ethan, the ringleader, had a buzz cut and a smirk. His buddies, Ryan and Nate, trailed him like shadows. They didn't like the quiet new guy. Marcus didn't swing to win, he just wanted out. Fists flew, quick and messy, until he broke free. Someone filmed it, but the clip cut off early. By lunch, whispers had twisted it. He's trouble. Dangerous. No one asked his side. He stayed silent, figuring it'd blow over. Until Sarah, a 32-year-old single mom in his lit class, spoke up. She'd seen the whole thing, Ethan starting it, Marcus just surviving. Her voice cut through the rumors like a blade, loud and steady in the cafeteria. "Y'all got it wrong," she said, glaring at Ethan's table. "He didn't ask for that fight." Heads turned. For once, Marcus didn't mind the noise. Marcus Tate had learned to spot trouble brewing long before it landed. By his second week at Westfield Community College, he'd already mapped out the exits: the side door by the lecture hall, the stairwell near the vending machines, and the back gate past the parking lot. At 27, he wasn't paranoid, just practical. Lunchtime in the cafeteria was no different. He'd clocked the tables, the jocks in their knockoff jerseys, the artsy types with sketch pads, and the ones who just stared at their trays like they'd rather be anywhere else. Marcus grabbed his food: soggy chicken strips, watery mac and cheese, a dented apple, and picked a spot by the windows. Alone. On purpose. He didn't pull out his phone or fake scroll to look busy. He ate slow, steady, letting the chatter buzz around him like background noise. Marcus wasn't there to stand out. He wasn't there to make buddies or flex. He had one goal: finish his associate's degree, keep his record clean, and maybe transfer to that state school his cousin Jamal kept hyping up. One semester, he told himself. Head down, make it to summer. That was the plan. But deep down, he knew Westfield wouldn't let him coast unnoticed for long. It started small. A stare that lingered. A laugh that hit too hard. A question that wasn't really a question. Tuesday lunch, same routine. Marcus at his corner table, picking at a dry sandwich. Halfway through, a voice sliced through the hum. "Yo, what's that supposed to be?" Loud, cocky, fishing for a reaction. Marcus glanced up. Across the room stood Tyler Grayson, 24, ex-high school quarterback turned campus kingpin. He rocked a navy Westfield hoodie like it was a trophy, flanked by his crew: Jake Russo, a stocky guy with a buzz cut and a smirk that stayed cold, and Liam Carter, lanky, always popping gum like it made him tough. Tyler nodded at Marcus's tray, grinning. "You pack that from home, or they serving broke now?" A few laughs rippled out. Not everyone, just enough to make it stick. Marcus didn't bite. He took another slow chew, eyes low, letting it roll off. "Dude's eating like it's a jail ration," Jake tossed in, quieter but sharp. Liam just watched, chewing like he was grading the show. Marcus had seen this play before. It wasn't about the food. It was about the flex, testing how long he'd stay quiet. He finished his sandwich, stood, grabbed his empty water bottle, and walked to the trash. No comeback, no glare, just calm. That threw Tyler off. "What, too good to talk?" he yelled after him. "Or you just slow on the uptake?" Marcus dropped his trash, turned, and gave Tyler one look. Not mad, not scared, just blank. Like he'd already sized him up and moved on. That's when the shift hit. Next day, during a sociology lecture, Marcus stepped out for a bathroom break. Came back to his notebook on the floor, pages torn, scattered. No one owned up. The professor didn't notice. Jake sat 2 seats over, spinning a pen, smirking like it was nothing. Marcus didn't react. He picked up the pieces, sat back down, and kept taking notes. He'd been through worse. Back in Oakland, you learned to read the storm and ride it out. But he knew this wasn't the end. Tyler and his boys wanted a crack in his armor. What they didn't get was that Marcus wasn't hiding. He was waiting. By Wednesday, someone had scrawled "dropout" across Marcus's locker in black marker. It wiped off with a damp paper towel, but the sting lingered like exhaust fumes. He didn't flinch, didn't make a scene. After class, he took the bus to the edge of town where the streets got narrower and the pavement split. He hopped off near a tire shop, cut through an alley stacked with old rims, and slipped into Tate's gym. The air hit him, sweat, rubber, and faint traces of liniment. His aunt, Lena Tate, 38, sat in the office, flipping through receipts that danced under a shaky fan. "You good?" she asked, eyes still on her papers. "Yeah," Marcus said, shedding his hoodie. His Uncle Ray, 42, was taping a guy's wrists by the ring. No questions, just a nod toward the mat. "Let it out," Ray said. Marcus wrapped his hands, stepped in, and hit the pads. Jab, hook, step, reset. The rhythm drained the weight from his bones. He didn't picture Tyler, Jake, or Liam. This wasn't revenge. It was survival, a reminder of who he was. You didn't fight because you were pissed. You fought because standing still wasn't an option anymore. Back at Westfield, though, the storm kept rolling in. Tyler hadn't forgotten that blank look Marcus gave him, the one that made him feel small. For a guy like Tyler, being ignored was a cut that wouldn't heal. By Thursday, Marcus's name was bouncing around the campus. Locker rooms, study lounges, the smoking area by the quad. New guy's trouble. Thinks he's too good. Probably got expelled from his last school. Maybe even swung on a prof. All lies. But lies ran faster than facts. In phys ed, Coach Daniels paired them up for drills. Tyler made sure he got Marcus. The basketball slammed into Marcus's chest. Too hard, too fast. He caught it clean. No stumble. "You got hands," Tyler said, half grinning. Marcus bounced it twice, smooth and steady. "We just passing, right?" "Right," Tyler shot back. But when Marcus returned it, sharp, straight, a thud against Tyler's ribs. The air shifted. A few guys chuckled. Tyler's smile tightened. "Cool," he muttered. But something twisted inside him. That silence, that control. It hit harder than any comeback could. Marcus wasn't playing their game, and Tyler couldn't win if Marcus wouldn't bite. By Friday, the whispers grew legs. People stepped aside when Marcus walked by. Not respect, just wariness. At Westfield, silence was a spark, and Tyler was already fishing for matches. The next week, it turned personal. Lunch became Tyler's stage. He'd yell across the cafeteria, tossing barbs like grenades. "You from Oakland, right?" he hollered one day, while Marcus sat with a tray of cornbread and beans. "What, no vest today? Leave it in your jacked-up ride?" Laughter cracked from his table, quick and loud. Some heads dropped. Others watched Marcus, waiting for him to snap. He didn't, just kept eating, slow and deliberate. That only stoked it. "For real?" Jake leaned in the next day, voice carrying. "Dude's gotta be on something. Doesn't even flinch." "Nah," Tyler smirked, staring Marcus down like he was a puzzle to break. "Not crazy. Just another street story waiting to bust." That one landed. Not just in the room, but in Marcus's gut. He didn't look up, didn't speak, but inside the pressure ticked up. He wasn't invisible anymore. Tyler had made him a target. Not with fists yet, but with a slow, sharp grind that didn't leave marks, just weight. Something twisted in Marcus's chest. A slow burn under his ribs. Not full-on anger. Not yet. But a jagged edge all the same. Tyler's words weren't just a jab. They were a label, a box he'd seen slapped on too many people like him. Not students, not individuals, just numbers waiting to prove a point. That afternoon, Marcus hit the bus stop with a quicker stride. Not scared. He didn't do scared, but he knew how this played out. He'd watched it with cousins, friends, guys who thought keeping quiet would shield them until someone decided quiet wasn't enough. Marcus didn't buy that silence was a savior. It was about timing. At home, Aunt Lena caught it in the way he held himself at dinner. Spine too rigid, fork barely moving through the mashed potatoes. "You're holding something," she said, setting her water down. Marcus nodded slow, eyes on the table. Uncle Ray glanced up from his phone, voice steady. "Holding back's tougher than swinging sometimes. You feel me?" "Yeah," Marcus said. Ray leaned in, locking eyes. "You're not there to prove shit to nobody. You're there to finish, build something. Stay solid, but—" He paused, firm. "If they corner you, don't let 'em walk over you either." At Westfield, the rumors grew teeth. Marcus got booted from 2 schools, punched a prof in high school, probably packs a blade. No proof, just noise that stuck too easy in a place primed to flinch at certain faces paired with stillness. In history class, Tyler leaned in from the desk behind, breath warm on Marcus's neck. "You ever seen a real fight, Tate? Up close, blood on the floor kind?" Marcus turned just enough. "Yeah, you don't want that." Tyler pulled back, jaw tight. "That a threat?" "A warning," Marcus said, low but solid. It hit like a brick, and Tyler's eyes flashed. That's when it flipped. Next day, Marcus headed to the back lot after class. Hood up, earbuds in, wind cutting through. He'd stayed late to help Coach Daniels stack equipment after phys ed. Liked the quiet out there. Tyler, Jake, and Liam liked it too. They trailed him from the side exit, shadows with grins. "Yo, Tate," Tyler called. Marcus tugged one earbud out, kept moving. "You think you're tough?" "No," Marcus said. "But you acted." "I act like I want to be left alone." Tyler stepped closer, voice sharp. "You don't pick that." Marcus squared up. "You done?" "Not yet." The wind shook a banner above the gym door. Buses rumbled off in the distance. But here, behind the brick and the trash bins, time stopped. Jake moved first, a fast shove to Marcus's chest. He didn't budge. "Back up," Marcus said, low. Jake smirked, swung wide, sloppy, pissed. Marcus slid inside the arc, twisted Jake's wrist, and dropped him with a leg sweep. One motion, clean. Jake hit the asphalt hard, air whooshing out. Liam twitched forward but froze. Tyler, taller, rougher, charged. Marcus ducked the punch, rode Tyler's momentum, and drove an elbow into his side. Not to shatter, just to stop. 12 seconds. Tops. When it cleared, Tyler was on one knee, gasping. Jake sprawled flat, groaning. Liam's hands were up, like he'd seen a ghost. Marcus stood where he'd started, breath even, hands loose, face blank. That's when Miss Carter, the assistant dean, rounded the corner. Miss Carter's eyes widened as she rounded the corner. "What's going on here?" Tyler scrambled up, clutching his side. "He jumped us! Dude's unhinged!" Marcus blinked, steady. "I didn't start it. They came at me." Carter scanned the scene. No blood, no cuts. just thick tension hanging in the air. Marcus's calm unnerved her more than the scuffle itself. "Come with me," she said. He nodded, no pushback, just followed like the storm hadn't even broken. The walk to the admin office was silent, a low hum behind his ears. Carter's steps were clipped, her glances sharp, like Marcus might combust if she didn't keep watch. Tyler and Jake trailed behind, Jake rubbing his arm, Tyler silent now, jaw clenched. Liam hung back, scrolling his phone like he could vanish into it. In the office, the receptionist froze mid-typing as they filed in. Carter pointed to the chairs. "Wait here." Marcus sat, hands on his knees, breathing even. Tyler fidgeted 2 seats over, antsy. Jake muttered into his phone, low and urgent. When Carter called Marcus in, the room smelled like stale coffee and warm ink. Blinds sliced the light, a vent rattled overhead. Dean Phillips, mid-40s, sat behind the desk. Tie crooked, papers fanned out like a case file. Carter stood, arms crossed. "Want to tell me what happened?" Phillips asked, not harsh. Marcus kept it simple, no flair. "I was walking. They followed. I told them to stop. They didn't. I defended myself." Phillips listened, eyes flicking to a folder like it held the real story. Carter coughed. "You're lucky no one's hurt." "Didn't want to fight," Marcus said, level. "I asked them to back off." "Doesn't matter who started it," Carter cut in. "Matters who ended it." Marcus met her gaze. "Then maybe ask the ones who wouldn't let it stop." The words dropped heavy. Phillips blinked. Carter shifted. No one answered. By Monday, the campus buzzed, not from official memos, but from whispers that outran truth. Marcus moved through the halls, no longer a ghost, but a presence, untouchable, unsettling. Some sidestepped him, some stared too long, most said nothing. In sociology, the guy who'd sat behind him last week switched seats. At lunch, Marcus took his usual spot, same tray, same silence, but the air crackled now. They weren't ignoring him. They were dodging him. Across the cafeteria, Tyler spun his tale for his crew, voice carrying. "He lost it. Psycho. Came at us like some action flick. Dropped Jake like he's Jackie Chan." Jake wasn't there, skipping class. Liam stayed quiet. A woman, Kelly Voss, 29, part-time student and barista, arched a brow. "Didn't you guys corner him?" Tyler scowled. "We were just talking. He flipped." She didn't buy it, but let it slide. In phys ed, Coach Daniels didn't pair Marcus up. "Shadow drills today," he said, flat. "Solo reps." No reason given, just space. Marcus nodded, no fight. That was the pattern now. After class, he skipped Tate's gym. No pads, no wraps. Instead, he walked the long way home through quiet streets and busted alleys he hadn't used since day one. He needed air, needed room. At home, the kitchen glowed dim. Aunt Lena sat at the table, bills scattered like a losing hand, highlighter poised, calculator humming. She glanced up, reading him in a second. Uncle Ray had the TV on low, an old MMA fight flickering across the screen. Marcus dropped his backpack by the door and sank into the couch. "Rough day?" Ray asked, eyes still on the cage. "People act different now," Marcus said. Ray muted the TV. You thought they'd thank you? No, Marcus muttered. Just didn't think they'd look at me like I'm a threat. Aunt Lena glanced up from her bills, her stare sharp but warm. You defended yourself, Marcus. Didn't break nothing, didn't push it. That counts. Not to them, he said. To them, I'm trouble now. Ray leaned forward. Listen, when you stand up and win, people see power. Power spooks the weak, especially the loud ones. Marcus stared at the floor, jaw tight. I held back, he said, voice low. Didn't even go full in. I know, Ray nodded. But they don't give a damn about restraint. You held up a mirror to that kid, showed him something he didn't want to face. That sticks. What do I do now? Marcus asked. Ray eased back. You keep your head. Remember why you're there, who you are. Let the truth sort itself. Marcus didn't reply. Part of him wished he'd swung harder, proved something. But another part, the quieter, sharper one, knew the damage was done. And it wasn't finished. By Tuesday, the storm hadn't faded. It morphed. 2 security guards stood by the college entrance near the ID scanners, something no one had seen since orientation. No memo, no explanation, but everyone knew why. Marcus walked in, breath clouding in the chill, backpack loose on one shoulder. He didn't look at the guards. Didn't need to. Their eyes tracked him anyway. In class, the dean's voice crackled over the speakers, stiff and scripted. All students involved in last week's incident are under review. A formal hearing's set for Thursday to decide disciplinary actions. The room stirred. Whispers. Quick glances at Marcus like he was already out the door. He kept his eyes forward like the words weren't his. But they were. Every one. That afternoon, he sat in the counselor's office. Ms. Ellis, 35, sat straight-backed, brows sculpted, voice smooth like she'd rehearsed it. Just checking in, she said, hands clasped over her tablet. Transferring mid-semester's tough. You adjusting okay? Marcus nodded. I'm fine. Her smile was too polished. Do you ever feel angry? His eyes narrowed. Why? No reason, she said fast. Just asking. He stood mid-sentence and left. That night, a video hit online, shaky, grainy, shot from behind the gym's trash bins. It caught a flash of the fight, Jake's shove, Tyler lunging, Marcus moving quick and clean. But it cut early, before the warning, before the push. It painted Marcus as the attacker. The caption, thinks he's in a fight flick. Scared yet? Posted from a throwaway account, no name, no follows. But the hashtag screamed, Tyler. Westfield menace not one of us, trouble from out of town. Comments piled up fast. Dropped Jake like it was nothing. Dude's fought for real. Why's he even here? Kick him out before it gets worse. Marcus read them over and over until the words looped in his skull even with the screen dark. He didn't respond, didn't defend. What was the point? They'd already decided who he was. Wednesday, the phone rang. Aunt Lena picked up. It was the school. The school demanded a formal hearing at the district level. Thursday morning, Marcus would need a guardian there. Aunt Lena didn't argue. She marked the date on the fridge calendar and rearranged her shifts. That night, Uncle Ray sat Marcus down at the kitchen table. Write it all out, he said. Every word, every move, every warning. Clean, No bullshit. Just facts. If this goes sideways, your side's gotta be rock solid. Thursday dawned gray and biting. The district office sat in a squat brick building downtown, all sterile silence, like a doctor's waiting room on repeat. Inside, a long table split the conference room. On one side, Dean Phillips, Ms. Carter, and a district rep, mid-30s, charcoal suit, horn-rimmed glasses, notepad already scratched up. On the other, Marcus, Lena, and a folder with his statement. Phillips started. We've had concerns from staff, students, and parents about Marcus Tate's behavior. We need to assess if he's a safety risk to Westfield. Lena leaned in, voice firm but measured. My nephew's no threat. He's trained in self-defense. He didn't start this. He warned them, tried to walk away. The rep glanced up. He has combat training? Yes, Lena said, unflinching. But that's control, not violence. It's knowing how not to hurt someone. Carter coughed. There's a video circulating. A clipped one, Lena shot back. Funny how it skips the part where 3 guys cornered him behind the gym. The rep jotted something. We don't see what sparked it. Of course not, Lena said, weary now. Only the piece that makes him look bad made the cut. Marcus spoke, steady and clear. They came at me. I didn't swing first. Didn't even want to be there. The rep tapped the folder. But we've got reports of physical aggression. So what should I have done? Marcus asked. Not mad, just tired. Let him hit me? Silence settled thick. Carter shifted. The rep looked away. Lena eased back. This isn't just about a fight. It's the picture you already had of him. A tall, quiet black guy who can defend himself. You figured that made him dangerous. No one answered. They didn't decide that day. Said they needed more time, more review, pending further evaluation. Outside, Marcus and Lena walked to the car, wind nipping at their heels. You did good in there, she said. Doesn't feel like it, he muttered. She met his eyes, soft but fierce. They heard you. Might not admit it, but they did. Marcus nodded, but the load didn't shift. This wasn't about facts. It was about what people wanted to see. No matter how straight he laid it out, he was still on trial for being himself. Thursday morning hit heavy. Westfield's halls felt hushed, like the whole campus was waiting to exhale. Marcus felt it the second he walked in. Eyes darting, voices dipping, doors clicking shut a little too quick. He wasn't just a student now. He was a story, a headline in motion. Some stared, some turned. Most watched him like a storm brewing, unsure when it'd break, just sure it would. The hearing wasn't done, but the verdict was already out in murmurs and stolen looks. At lunch he took his usual spot, back table, same tray, same quiet. But it felt sharper now, colder, like the air itself had turned. They'd decided he was too something, too calm, too strong, too other. Marcus took slow bites of a lukewarm burrito, head low, every move feeling like it was on display, like he was trapped under a spotlight. Too risky to be near, too strange to approach. That's what the room seemed to say. Then out of nowhere, someone sat across from him. Not a slip-up, not a coincidence. A choice. She was pale, with cropped auburn hair and glasses that looked too big for her face, clutching a worn sketchbook like armor. Marcus knew her vaguely. Sarah Klein, 26, the quiet type always doodling in class corners. She didn't smile, didn't ease into it, just leaned in, voice low but firm. I saw everything. He looked up, cautious. What? Monday, behind the gym, she said. I was there, not on purpose, drawing the trash bins for some weird art project, but I saw it all. You told them to stop. Jake swung first. You didn't start it. Her eyes didn't flinch. I should have said something sooner. Marcus studied her, half expecting a catch, some new angle to trip him up. Why now? She glanced at her sketchbook, then back. If they kick you out over Tyler's bullshit and I stay quiet, that's on me. I kept waiting for someone else to speak up. No one did. So I'm doing it. Her face wasn't nervous, just tired, like she'd been hauling this truth too long and finally dropped it. You tell anyone yet? He asked. She nodded. Talked to Carter this morning. I'm going to the follow-up hearing. He leaned back, stunned. Not that someone backed him, but that someone bothered to see the truth at all. That night, he told Uncle Ray everything. Sarah's words, her sketchbook, her resolve. You trust her? Ray asked. Marcus shrugged. Dunno, but she sounded real. Ray nodded. Sometimes the right folks stay quiet till silence costs too much. Friday's hearing felt different. Same sterile room, same long table, same district rep with his scribbled-up notepad. But the air had shifted. Sarah sat at the table's end, hands knotted tight, voice wobbling just enough to feel honest. They cornered him, she said. 3-on-1. He didn't want to fight, told them to back off. Jake threw the first punch. Marcus just reacted, defended himself. He stopped when they were down. Could have kept going, but didn't. She paused, steadying. I saw it all. Even Carter stopped tapping her pen. The rep peered over his glasses. You didn't report this sooner? Sarah shook her head. I was scared. That's not an excuse. Her voice cracked, but it didn't matter. The room had heard her. 15 minutes later, they cleared everyone out. Decisions would come Monday. No apologies, no handshakes. But as Marcus walked to the car with Aunt Lena, he felt something new. A breath that didn't choke. She didn't have to do that, he said. No, Lena replied, zipping her jacket. But she did. They didn't talk much on the drive home, but Marcus kept staring out the window, watching the world slide by like it might finally be settling. Saturday morning, an email pinged. One line in bold. Marcus Tate is not subject to disciplinary action. The district acknowledges the evidence and confirms he acted in self-defense. Lena printed it, stuck it to the fridge, and walked off. Ray grinned. Marcus didn't smile. Not yet. He just stared at it, half disbelieving. The system had cleared him, but it didn't erase the week he'd carried, the stares, the whispers, the weight of being seen as something he wasn't. For the first time since it all kicked off, the silence at home didn't feel like a shield. It felt like rest, and rest, Marcus knew, was the one thing you couldn't fake. The week after the decision slid by in a strange hush. Not the tight quiet he used to carry, but something slower, more guarded. At Westfield, no one bumped him in the halls anymore. No whispers hit his ears. Tyler kept his eyes elsewhere. Jake dodged him entirely. Liam switched tables at lunch. It wasn't fear, not quite. Just space. like they'd decided Marcus wasn't a threat, but he wasn't safe either. He'd turned into a line you didn't cross, didn't poke, didn't get too close to. The tension had loosened, but the distance had grown. Teachers shifted too. Some flashed that stiff, polite smile. "We're trying here." Others watched him like they were waiting for the next domino to fall. Not Dr. Hayes, though. In literature class, he handed back Marcus's essay with clear voice, solid work scrawled in the margin. No fuss, just respect. Marcus nodded. "Thanks." It felt like air, but the real turn came quiet. The last bell of the semester cut through Friday afternoon, sharp and bright, bouncing off the walls. Lockers slammed. Voices shouted plans for the break, and the halls churned with motion, everyone chasing something freer. Marcus lingered by his locker, watching the rush pass him by, shoulder to shoulder. He didn't feel free. He felt stuck, like his body had survived but his head hadn't caught up. As he turned to go, a voice stopped him. "Marcus, hold up." It was Ms. Torres, his sociology prof, late 30s, jogging to catch him, breath puffing in the cold seeping through the exit. "Hey," she said, tugging her scarf tighter. "We've got a student assembly tomorrow, last-minute thing. One speaker bailed, and a few of us thought you might want to talk." He blinked. "Like, on stage?" She smiled, soft. "Only if you want. I just think people should hear you. The real you, not the rumor mills version." He didn't answer, just nodded once. That night, he sat cross-legged on his bedroom floor, a blank notebook in his lap. The page stared up, empty, waiting. He grabbed a pen, looked at the ceiling, replayed it all. The fight, the hearing, the video, the whispers, Tyler's glare before the swing, Sarah's steady, "I saw everything." Then he wrote one line. "I didn't ask to be here, but I'm not leaving either." Saturday was frigid. The auditorium hummed, low lights, restless students, teachers propped against walls with coffee breath. Marcus waited backstage, pulse even but heavy. No notes, just that line in his head like a guide. They called his name. A murmur rippled through, not loud, just there. He stepped out, slow, deliberate, one foot, then the other. At the mic, he cleared his throat. "I've been called a lot since I got here. Quiet, weird, dangerous. Some of y'all still don't know what to think of me. That's fine. I'm still working it out, too." A few laughs broke the air, shaky but real. "I didn't come here to fight. I came to finish my degree, same as you. Wanted to get through my days, no mess. But sometimes you don't pick the story people shove you into." He scanned the room, blurred shapes, no faces, just quiet. "I'm not up here saying I'm perfect. I've screwed up. I've been pissed. I've been worn out. But if all you know about me is what someone else said, you don't know me." Marcus kept going. "I'm from a city where keeping your head down keeps you alive, where you learn when to talk and when to shut up. Here, I found out silence can make people yell louder." He paused, letting it sink in. "I'm grateful for the ones who listened, and the ones who didn't. I'm still here. You didn't run me off. You made me tougher." Near the middle, Sarah sat still, hands folded, watching. "What I'm saying is, don't be so fast to slap a label on someone. You don't know what they've hauled, what they've had to shed just to stand here. Next time, instead of laughing, shoving, or posting some fake-ass clip, maybe ask. He stepped back. The mic cut off. Silence held, then one clap, then two, then it spread, not wild, but real. That afternoon, crossing the courtyard, a younger student, maybe 20, skinny, drowning in a baggy hoodie, stopped him by the bike rack. "You really trained to fight?" the kid asked, eyes big. Marcus shrugged. "I trained to be ready." The kid shifted, nervous. "Can you teach me?" Marcus eyed him for a beat. "You sure you want to learn?" A quick nod. "I'm tired of being scared." Marcus cracked a small, lopsided grin. "All right. First lesson, stand tall, even when it's easier to fold." They walked toward the exit together, not mentor and student, just two guys moving forward. Sometimes the real fights don't leave marks. They're the ones where you prove you fit in a world that keeps trying to erase you. When Westfield's gates shut behind him that day, Marcus didn't look back. He didn't need to. Walking through those doors months ago wasn't just another semester. It was the start of something rougher, lonelier, truer. He hadn't signed up for a test, hadn't hunted for a brawl, but when it came, he stood. When they tried to drown him in rumors and suspicion, he didn't yell, he held on. Not because he wanted to be tough, but because he didn't know how to be anything less. The truth didn't fix it all. The stares didn't vanish. But somewhere between the punches behind the gym and the words on that stage, something shifted. Not the whole world, not every mind, but enough. Enough to count. Enough to tell him being seen didn't have to mean being feared. That silence could break, not with noise, but with honesty. Marcus walked home, head up, shoulders loose. The weight was still there, but lighter, not because the world had opened up, but because he'd clawed out his own space. He didn't fade. He didn't shrink. He stayed. And sometimes, staying's the strongest move you've got. Lesson: you don't have to prove yourself to everyone, just the ones who matter. Marcus learned this the hard way. Not everyone's gonna get you, and that's okay. People like Tyler and his crew, they'll twist your story, slap labels on you, and judge you before you even open your mouth. They're loud, they're everywhere, and they'll drain you dry if you let them. But here's the thing. Life's too short to waste energy proving them wrong. Focus on the ones who see you for real. Aunt Lena, who'd fight the world for him. Uncle Ray, who taught him to keep his head. Sarah, who spoke up when it counted. Those are the voices worth hearing, the people worth showing up for. The rest? Let them talk. They don't deserve your time or your truth. Marcus figured out that living well, staying steady, chasing his degree, carving his path, wasn't about winning over the crowd. It was about proving to himself, and the handful who had his back, that he was enough. In a world quick to doubt you, that's the win that sticks.